Neil from Essex here to go over a new Kubota model with you. This is a SVL97-3 compact track loader. Compact track loaders here at Essex have become really important products for both us and Kubota. Today we sell more Kubota construction equipment, more compact track loaders than we do even Kubota's super popular BX series tractors. There are tons of these things out here for us. Really important products here for us at the dealership. We're going to take some time, walk around this model and show you all the things that they're changing here in this new machine.
Essex, a helping hand with your land.
We're going to walk around the intricate details of this machine, but kind of first, what has not changed, because companies can always screw things up, right? And Kubota is not here. The bones of this machine that have made it so popular for us remain. And those bones are this excavator-style roll-up door that you can swing up here out of the way. Our customers have really come to like this because it's really wide, it's easy to get in and out of, but importantly, it doesn't swing out into the path of the boom. So as the boom is going up and down, or if you've got an attachment out here on the front and you need to be able to open your door to talk to somebody or get out of the machine at a time you can't get the boom down to the ground, the door here is out of the travel path, so it's always possible to get in and out. Another thing that they did not screw up, very happily for us, is the control sticks. Kubota is one of the two companies here on the market at this point that is not using electronic control sticks. These are wet control sticks like you would have in an excavator. There's actually hydraulic lines that come up into the bottom of them, and they use hydraulic pressure in order to operate. This gives these a different feel than an electronic stick will. So the ability to inch and the feedback that you get from the machine is different in a wet stick than it is in a fly-by-wire system. You still do have a little bit of electronic adjustability of controls. You do give up some things when you don't have sensors and stuff down in here. The computer screen that's down here in this one now will give you a little bit of control over, say, machine sensitivity, not to the same degree that electronic sticks will, but largely because the feel of this machine is different than an electronic stick machine. You don't need all kinds of sensitivity adjustments to change how these things behave. While we're here in the cab, we might as well talk about the rest of the changes that have happened here internally as well. This cab is now a single piece cab, and it is pressure positive. So there's been some changes here, the HVAC system. The cooling now should be a little bit better, and the cooling system is able to hold a little bit of positive pressure here inside the cab to make sure that you don't get dust and dirt egress in through little places that you might have cracks here in the system. That positive pressure here will keep the dust out of the inside. A number of things have moved around here inside the cab as well, and a lot of these things we would have seen over in the SVL97-3 about 2 years ago. All this same stuff is making its way here as well. So some of these things might sound familiar if you've seen other machines before. The major change here that happened is that there's now a screen in this machine. Now this 97-2 had a screen in it as well that kind of bolted to the left-hand side here to use as a backup camera. But it never really felt right. It was kind of a hack job in order to get a backup camera into that machine during an era that's becoming expected. This, though, is a proper kind of screen system here inside of the machine. And I always walk through these things carefully because we all know screens can be overdone. Putting too much functionality into them can get annoying. And Kubota has always kind of walked a good line with that. Most of what you have here in the screen is diagnostic information now about the machine, or some adjustability for your machine hydraulics, because that's a lot easier to do on here than it is when you're looking at LCD displays. They give you an additional thing in here. You have a Bluetooth radio, backup camera, all those kinds of things that you come to expect. But all the other stuff here for like HVAC controls, enabling your hydraulics, turning on your auxiliaries, self-leveling for the forks as they go up and down, all of that can be done over here with simple buttons over here on the side. So you're not going to the screen regularly to change things about the machine. It's mostly giving you kind of your machine diagnostics, right? Returning error codes when they happen or showing all of your fuel and auxiliary information. Another standard cab feature here that I'm really happy to see is an air ride seat. This used to be an option that we could put into the older machines, but it's now standard equipment in the cab models. And not only is this seat air ride, it's also heated. Many times those of us here buying cab machines in our northern environments are using them for snow removal and stuff in the wintertime, and you can now drive around your SVL97-3 in heated comfort. Another technology upgrade on this machine is that telematics on this unit are standard equipment. Every one of these is going to come through with a cell phone modem installed to it, communicating to the cloud with all kinds of machine information, kind of the diagnostic info, fuel levels, fluid levels, where the machine is sitting at, and all that's available both to you in order to go through on the My Kubota app and see things about your machine, and also to communicate with Kubota. They use this information in order to look at things like product quality and make better machines in the future. So it's cool to see how that technology is being used. This system comes through at no cost for 3 years, and there's the possibility at some point after that 3 years that they might ask for a monthly subscription for that to continue. However, to this point, we've had telematics on a number of pieces of equipment here for a number of years, and Kubota has yet to come along and ask for people to start to pay for that service. The very first telematics modem that we sold years ago remains free today. So can't imagine that's going to be the case forever, but to this point, having that live feed of your machine on your phone, and to me, importantly, the ability to be able to go through and lock it out if it's stolen or need to see where it's at, or be able to check the running hours for billing purposes with a customer, is all free in this unit for at least 3 years. Now, while cab upgrades are nice and comfort is wonderful, at the end of the day, we're all concerned about how a machine performs, right? And there has been work done here in this machine in its hydraulic system in order to make it a little bit more capable. So the cycle times now of your boom and bucket are run about 20% faster than what the old model did. You have a small bump in the high flow hydraulics and the amount of GPM that you can get out of the front, and an optional weight kit now that's going to give the machine more lift capacity. You see the bolts across the back here. Weights can be dropped here into the back of the machine. That's going to give you about another 250 pounds or so of lift capacity before the machine is going to want to tip forward. So give you a little bit more capacity there. Now, the travel motors here on the tracks have been upgraded as well. This is a 2-speed system like it has always been, but this is now a auto shift travel motor. So when you go into a corner, if you're in high range and your machine can't power through that corner, the track motor will automatically step down its gear into low to give you the torque to make your corner, and then step back into high again to give you your speed back. These new travel motors are also faster by about 1 mile an hour. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but these things top out at about 8 miles an hour. So going 1 mile an hour faster is what, like 15% faster or something, right? So the travel speed is going to be a little bit quicker than what the old ones are. Looking around the rest of the tracks here, if you've not seen Kubota tracks before, it's something they've always done a really good job with. Being a Japanese company, when it comes to like making track systems for rice fields and that kind of stuff, it's something the company has always been really good at. When you look here at the construction of this, you'll get a double roller in the front that gives you a little bit more stability across the track frame, especially when loads get wider, right? It moves that center of gravity out further on the machine, but still a single roller in the rear, and that's going to make it a little bit easier to steer if it's sitting on concrete. You have 5 boggy rollers across the bottom here, and this is a traditional grease-filled tension track. So this starts to get a little floppy. You pop a cover open here, go at it with the grease gun a little bit to push that roller forward and tension the track. Pointed out here earlier that this is now a 2-speed track motor, so it'll downshift when you go into your corners. And if you look at the weldments in here, this is something important to see. A lot of companies are going to go through and kind of use the same chassis for a track machine and a wheeled skid steer. Kubota does not do this. This does not share an undercarriage with a wheeled version. So you're going to notice here that the track frame is not bolted onto the tub of the machine at all. This is welded on the whole way around, so that substructure of this machine is a lot heavier than what you might find in some competing models. If we flip open the back of the machine here and take a look in the inside, a lot of this is going to look familiar to the old model. Super heavy door. You notice our backup camera here is on the top of that now. The top will flip up here with radiators and stuff in the top, and then all of your kind of major stuff is easy to get to. So air cleaners sit here in the top, dipsticks right here on the top of the engine, batteries easy to get down here on the side. Now, if you need to get into this thing further, if you pull one bolt right here, this entire radiator assembly hinges right out, giving you easy access to the back side of the engine. If you need to go beyond that, say you need to get into a hydraulic pump or something, the entire cab assembly will flip up by removing just 2 bolts. So zip 2 bolts out of the front, and then there's a gas assist struts in there that will take the weight of the cab, allowing you just to give an easy push in order to flip the whole front of the cab assembly up. The engine sits in line with the machine, so all of your hydraulic pumps and everything are bolted onto the front side of the machine underneath the cab. One thing I neglected to mention earlier is that in this model now, by switching to this one-piece cab and by adding some additional cab insulation, the cab is now quieter as well. So even though those pumps are sitting right underneath of your seat down there, making noise, pumping all that fluid, it's not really heard so much in the cab to the same degree that it was in the prior model. One thing I always do when I'm looking at equipment is to get under the hood a little bit and kind of dig around the guts of it. And this is what things look like down underneath the cab. You know, all of this equipment is great when it's got a couple hundred hours on it, but when you're 10 years into ownership, you're gonna be in here for stuff. That's just how equipment is, right? I really like to be able to flip up a cab and look under of a machine and just see the care that was taken by the company that designed it, the engineers that are involved to make something that is tidy and easy to work on the inside. You can see here all the porting and everything for those wet hydraulic lines comes down here from the cab. Those are the hoses themselves. They're not secret sensors in there. Any kind of wiring harnesses and stuff tie off right here. Things like hydraulic tanks and fuel tanks sit here right in the belly and are really easy to get to. The hydraulic pumps that are stacked onto the engine stack right out the front here with all the hoses and everything to get to them. Hydraulic oil filters and stuff when you need to service the machine are located right here on the inside. I think those are like 500-hour intervals, but you're gonna get to them eventually, right? And you can see right here where they sit on the inside of the machine. So really super tidy underneath the cab. Impressive to me. Sometimes you flip this up and you find a rat's nest of stuff down there people were hoping you didn't see, but there's a beauty in the way that all this stuff is engineered. You're gonna notice the light assemblies up here on the top of the cab have changed. The old model, for some reason, still used halogen lights. We could put LEDs on them, but halogens were still standard even in this day. But the new model is now coming through with LEDs. Now, not only are these LED lights, but the screen down here has some additional smarts in it. You're able to set an exit timer that's going to keep these lights on for a couple of minutes when you exit the machine. If you're working at nighttime, driving the machine when it's dark outside, and you go to park and you need to climb out of the unit and probably step over some bucket or attachment in front of you, leaving the lights on is a real convenience, but also a safety issue as well. And this is going to allow you to have the LEDs and also have that nice timer feature. Another standard feature in this new model is KSR, or Kubota Shockless Ride. Hydraulic accumulators or ride control has been around in other machines for a while. Kubota's had it in the skid steers for a long time, but has neglected to put it into most of the track loaders. Now, I would say majority of that was probably because during the time that the SVL97-2 was done, was through some of those COVID years where even finding supply of hydraulic accumulators was challenging. But now that supply is readily available, and we end up with KSR Shockless Ride as standard equipment on this machine. It is not an added cost upgrade like you're often going to find with other brands. I really like this feature a lot. If you've not used a Shockless Ride machine, as you're driving and traveling back and forth carrying a load, it allows your boom to bounce. And that bounce really makes the machine a lot faster to travel and a lot less shocking to you as the operator, as that load can ride and bounce as it goes along. It really smooths things out a lot. It's a feature I'm very happy to see as standard equipment. If you're shopping for one of these, one of the things that so impresses me about this machine is the sheer lack of model codes and options. If you've been shopping for a machine before, you probably know the perspective that you get from so many manufacturers where you get this complicated build sheet where they're trying to optimize the customer value and their profit in every little thing they put onto a machine. And so they'll de-spec something and make you pay for every blooming thing that you want for the unit. And as you found when we've walked around this here and talked about things like heated air ride seats and ride control all being standard equipment, you start to see that this is not built that way. That's not the perspective that Kubota has taken with this unit. When you go through and you look at the base model itself, the things that you need to decide if you want from the factory in that original machine that are not dealer installed in any fashion are you getting a cab or an open station machine? Are you getting standard flow or high flow hydraulics? And do you want a standard or hydraulic coupler, manual or hydraulic coupler? Other than those three variants, everything else that we've talked about on this machine is standard equipment. That I love, for one, from a dealership perspective, because we're going to have the model that you want sitting here on the lot and not have to order in this complicated configuration of 800 options. And I think to you as a buyer, it delivers better value fundamentally, right? When all of these things are bundled together and the machine is sold at an appropriate aggressive price, it gives you better value in that unit than having to pick and pay a premium for every one of those options, and in many cases have our shop go through and then have to install all of those kits. So I'm really pleased to be able to see equipment sold this way. I think it delivers a better value for all of us. So that's a little bit on the SVL97-3. There's a lot here to like, right? A lot of nice changes that were made over the old model, and also a lot of philosophy when it comes to engineering and selling equipment here that I really appreciate from this company. So shopping for one of these and we can help. If you got parts and service needs for a machine you've already got, give us a call here at Messick's. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at Messick's.com.